Hi there, good morning, and a warm welcome to all of you. It is my pleasure to introduce to you Ielken's concept of complete health. Yours truly goes by the name of Gabriel, and let me take you to a journey to my family's health. You talk about Penny Lee, my sister-in-law. Everyone knows her as the MCCM Penny Lee, and she was the first one to experience Ielken's health products. She suffers from very, very bad migraine. So bad that she has to go to the doctor to take drugs that would help her to relieve her migraine. Drugs that would cost a couple of $100 a pill. And that too has no effect on her. In fact, it was lactose that helps her to relieve her of the migraine together with our health food. And then she introduced it to Joanne Lee, my better half, because Joanne Lee also suffers from migraine. In fact, it was so bad that every time when she does that, suffers from that, I have to give her massage to relieve her. But it was through Penny's effort in forcing it to her, forcing her to take it, that she too felt great relief after detoxification with the lactose S. And if you talk about constipation, you haven't seen what constipation is like until you meet my mother-in-law. Everyone knows her as Kamche. She goes to, but don't tell her, she goes to bowel movement once in 10 days. Imagine that, once in 10 days, all the things that she took into her stomach, into her colon, all that is putrefying, and you can just imagine the intestines absorbing that, and it does her no good. In fact, she was swelling up. She was having what we would say water retention. That is an indication of ill health. And it was only after taking lactose, not on the first sachet, not on the second sachet, not on the first box, but only after the second box, only then she went for bowel movement. She was such a stubborn case. And today, if you meet Kamche, you can see that she is in the prime of health. She may be chronologically 60 over years old, but she looks 45. Honestly, she came back to health together with her daughters, Penny and Joanne, through our Ielken's health supplements. Talk about my niece, it's almost a miracle. She's a nurse by profession. In fact, this daughter of my eldest brother, she refused to take any health food because she thought she knew all about health until she was expecting. And then the scan showed that the baby had a tumor-like growth in the brain, and she was scared out of her wits. So the mother, her mother insisted, my sister-in-law in other words, insisted that her daughter should take the spirulina, Ielken spirulina. And over the months, the scan showed that the tumor-like growth grew smaller and smaller. And today, they have a healthy, bouncing boy. Honestly, we should be taking care of our health. And it is true understanding of the concept of complete health, Ielken's concept of complete health and its nutrition, that we come back to health. Now, you may sound very contradictory that our health food do not cure us of all our illnesses. It is not so. In fact, the health food fortifies our body, and the body comes back to health. Our body is actually the best doctor in the world. With sufficient nutrition, with the health concept that we practice, we would definitely come back to health. So let's examine what is Ielken's concept of complete health, how we can come back to a healthier us. Now, with all the advancement in terms of technologies and in terms of our economic success, it has improved our living standard. We live better now than many, many years ago. We have all the gadgets, we have all the modern appliances to help us. And then what about medical breakthrough? We too have a lot of medical breakthroughs. We talk about drugs for a lot of diseases which has helped us to deteriorate further. We'll talk about, in terms of immunization, we'll talk about inoculation for prevention. We have also talked about surgeries. Surgeries that were not even thought possible years ago. Like what? Like liver transplant, like heart transplant, open heart surgeries. All this seems very miraculous. But then, how would we talk about this in terms of improving our health? No, all these actually, we are now faced with even greater challenge in terms of life-threatening chronic diseases. Diseases like what? Diseases like heart attack, stroke, diabetes, cancer, arthritis, kidney disorders. These are only some examples of what it can do to us. And almost every day we would read the papers, we would be able to see that we have heart problems, stroke problems, kidney problems, cancer, and so forth. Here we have a US survey. We talk about heart problems, 1 in every 20 seconds. We talk about heart attack, 4 in every 10 persons. Cancer, diagnosed 1 in every 3 persons. And mortality, 1 in every 5 persons. And this source is from the Nanyang Sengpao. And then also we have talked about US mortality, 1 every minute. We talk about Taiwan, 1 every 17 minutes in terms of mortality, and in Singapore, our neighbors, we talk about 1 in every 4 persons. And heart attack is also very frequent, 1 in every 2 persons. Imagine that, 1 in every 2 persons. If it's not me, it is not you, it's 2 other persons. And then we talk about cancer, 1 in every 3 persons. And this is actually a very alarming rate. But what can we do about it? What can be done? Now, according to biological theories, we are supposed to live to be 120 years old. But our lifespan in Malaysia, in Southeast Asia here, we talk about 60, 70 years. And according to the latest medical report, 99% of people actually die from illnesses. They don't die a natural death. So in spite of all this advancement in terms of technology and economic side, we still see no significant improvement in our longevity. And many people, ladies and gentlemen, honestly are afraid to grow old because they associate illnesses as we age. Illnesses when we turn 60, when we turn 50. It is not so. If we know how to care for our body, if we learn to listen to the symptoms, if we learn to take care of our body through Elken's complete concept of health, then we not only live a long life, but we live also a very healthy life. Let's take a look. The body aches. These are signals to indicate that the body natural curative process is disrupted by abnormal metabolism and insufficient nutrition. However, modern medicine focuses on what? Focuses on treating symptoms only. Painkillers for headaches, antibiotics for inflammation, tranquilizers for abnormal and mental anxiety, surgery, or chemotherapy for tumors. Now, all these will only provide temporary relief. We are not going to the root of the problem because the root of the problem is actually our cells, our body itself. Now, let's take a look and see how we can understand why modern medicine do not effectively treat chronic diseases, and we must first understand the root cause of illnesses. Why are drugs ineffective? There are many causes. Take air pollution, for example. The air that we breathe in today. Look at the sky when we wake up. Look at the haze that we are experiencing. What are the millions of motor cars, motorcycles that is emitting all the exhaust fumes into the air? It's not making the air any cleaner. The factories itself, and then we open burning, is all causing the air to degrade in terms of its oxygen content. And then the water pollution. Ladies and gentlemen, look at our rivers. Honestly, it leaves much to be desired. The amount of pollution that goes in there, the fishes that are killed, biologically hazards down there, and the water that we take from our faucet, sometimes in the morning when we look at it, it's cloudy, it's brownish. Is that what you want? Is that what we should be drinking? Then what about agricultural and animal husbandry? In terms of animal husbandry, we talk about diseases that were, well, maybe not even existed years ago. You know, we talk about chicken, they have the viral attack on the chickens. We talk about the cattle, they have these mad cow diseases. It is because of the way they are reared. It is because of the way, the feeds that we introduce to these animals. Now, the chickens today, the chickens are what? 3 weeks old, they're ready for the table. But in those days, we talk about 3 months old, so that's why a lot of people go for kampong chicken. And agriculture, in terms of now, we talk about advancement in terms of herbicide. But our vegetables, our fruits contains heavy doses, ladies and gentlemen, heavy doses of these herbicides. Now, even if ants, if insects, if worms do not go for these fruits and vegetables, should we then be consuming them? Ask ourselves that question. Lack of exercise. How many of us can honestly say that we exercise on a regular basis? Hardly, because modern lifestyle is such that we hardly exercise. In fact, I've got friends who tells me they exercise on a regular basis. They say they wake up, then they run around the bed 3 times and they plonk back to bed. God, if that's exercise, I wonder what healthy lifestyle means. But anyway, ladies and honestly, we don't have the time. We go to work, we come back, we're exhausted, and we say, you want me to exercise? You must be joking. You and I have gone through that kind of a phase in life. Then we talk about stress. Stress exists in all people, whether we're young or whether we're old. When we go to work, the first thing what do we hit? Traffic jams. That's stress. My God, I'm going to be late for work. Then when we hit the office, we rush, we got assignments to rush, we got quota to fill, and then we got to entertain clients, and they could be very nasty. Then we got to meet up with our boss who could have woken up on the wrong side of bed. Then we think about our pay rise. God, and then we'll talk about VSS. Am I going to be the next one? Stress. Then we talk about people who are at home. Then they got to take the children and ferry them to the school, ferry them back, ferry them to activities, tuition. What about to buy the food? What to cook, to make sure the house looks clean and spick and span. Then we talk about children. Even children, ladies and gentlemen, they too have stress. They're worried about the homework. They're worried about the marks. They're worried about the exams. They're worried about the expectancy of their parents. Then we talk about imbalanced nutrition. How many of us really take balanced diet? Look at the food that we eat in the breakfast. Look at the food we took for lunch, and what about the food that we take for our evening meal, and maybe we take for supper. Those are basically, if we look at our diet, they are basically carbohydrates. They are not well balanced. Then we talk about abnormal lifestyle. You know, we do have to have, when we work, we have entertainment. Maybe we could be in the karaoke singing our hearts out with our clients because we need to entertain foreign visitors or our buyers. Then we also have people who work shifts, right? They should be sleeping, and instead they are working. And it is not. The rhythm of our body is totally upset. In other words, many people feel that as long as they are not sick, they equate that to health. Ladies and gentlemen, it is not so. If we are not sick, we are not necessarily healthy. You know, we have a lot of symptoms. Let's take a look at some of those symptoms. Now, fatigue. When we talk about fatigue, when we wake up, we feel so lethargic. We don't feel like getting up, even though we have 8 hours of sleep. Haven't you felt that before? I have. I'm sure most of us have felt that. Then we talk about constipation. Oh, my mother-in-law, that was the classic case. But we do suffer from it periodically. Sometimes 3 days, we hardly go for any bowel movement, bad breath. A lot of us sometimes covers our mouth so that we hope the person we are speaking to do not smell the bad breath that is emitting from our mouth. Short-tempered. A lot of us are very, very quick-tempered. We feel irritable. These are symptoms that something within us is not right. Flu. If there's a bug around, we're so quick. We catch it. We're even faster than Muhammad Ali. Irregular menstrual symptom. Oh boy, would the ladies be perturbed? Would they be worried if it doesn't come on a regular basis? Sometimes it's early, 15 days instead of 28. Worse still, if it doesn't come after 40 days, they are really worried. Then they go for the doctors. Insomnia, we toss and turn in our bed. We disturb our spouse. We cannot sleep at all. Headache, skin allergies. It could be the food that we eat, and we have lumps all over, rashes all over. But these are signs. Then we have shoulder ache. Oh boy, you can hardly stretch and you feel so tired because the shoulder is aching. But these are symptoms, these are signs telling us, ladies and gentlemen, we are not healthy, that there is something wrong within us. But what is wrong within us, we have to find out. But these are symptoms, these are minor symptoms. We don't want to wait until the major symptom comes in, or where we feel so ill, we were on the verge of chronic illnesses. And so today, I wish to share with all of you a very important health concept, which is the molecular reform therapy. Let us learn how to stop our semi-healthy condition from further deterioration. Let us learn how to regain and maintain our health, because being healthy is our responsibility. This molecular reform therapy do not originate from us in Elken. Actually, it originated from the US. In 1975, the United States found that it's the most powerful nation, it is the most economic powerhouse, the richest nation in the world, but the people were all very unhealthy or semi-healthy. They suffer from all the chronic illnesses, name it, you've got it, health diseases in terms of stroke, heart attack, in terms of kidney disorder, and the works, diabetes. And so in 1975, they got together a US Special Committee, and this group of people put their heads together. This committee was comprised of what? Comprised of all the eminent doctors, the physiotherapists, the nutritionists. And in 1977, 2 years down the road, they came up with a 5,000-page report. And this was formulated by the two-time Nobel Prize winner, Dr. Pauling. This report, condensing it, would what we call the molecular reform therapy. And basically it says what it goes down is to the root cause, in other words, to the cells, the individual cells. So if the cells, we know our body is made up of cells only. If the cells are healthy, ladies and gentlemen, therefore our tissues are healthy, and therefore our organs are healthy, which means our system is healthy, and therefore we are healthy. And this human body of ours consists of how many cells? 60 trillion cells of various types. And we have soft cells, hard cells, liquid cells. Soft cells like the organs, the skin, the muscles. Hard cells like the bones, the teeth. And liquid cells in terms of hormones and the blood. Therefore, the best way to prevent and treat illnesses is to understand and to satisfy the needs of the cells. Because if the metabolism and the nutritional aspect of the individual cells is healthy, we must be healthy. And if it is compromised, we won't be healthy, which means we will be very unhealthy or in a semi-healthy state. But what do cells need? Cells just need 4 things. Primarily, it needs pure water. Ladies and gentlemen, pure water, not adulterated water, not fizzy drinks, and it needs oxygen. Like we said before, the air has been compromised. If we took a walk in the forest, look how healthy we be. Look how energetic we become, because the oxygen level in the forest is of a better quality than out in this polluted valley of ours. And then we talk about balanced nutrition. If we have taken the nutrients that our body needs on a daily basis, we would come back to health. And fourth, finally, talk about the spiritual health. This spiritual health of us, we talk about being on a positive note. The environment is very negative in its nature. We read the papers, and what do we see? Accidents, death, anything to do with negative things, because all this is what sells the papers. But in terms of spiritual health, we must be positive in our mental outlook. With all these 4 things together, then we should be healthy. Remember, not one of these should be left out. So molecular reform therapy and Elken's complete health concept consists of 4 steps. First is balanced nutrition. Then we talk about enhanced metabolism and increased oxygen intake. Third, we talk about detoxification. And fourth, we talk about strengthening our bodily functions. Now, these 4 steps, let's take a look at one step at a time. The first step, we talk about balanced nutrition. Now, we are what we eat. Food is the source of health or the cause of illness. And 70% of illnesses is related to nutrition. And we require, ladies and gentlemen, we require 46 essential nutrients daily. Well, if we miss out a bit here and there on a short-term basis, probably we won't feel the impact. But take it on a 5-year, 10-year, 15, 20 years basis, the illness would manifest itself. So these 46 essential nutrients have to be taken on a daily basis. What do we mean by essential nutrients? Essential nutrients are basically nutrients that our body cannot and don't manufacture. We got to take it from the outside, and we got to take alkaline food, less acidic food. Dr. Reinhard Bird has stated that we should be taking 80% in terms of alkaline food and 20% acidic food. But ladies and gentlemen, what is alkaline food? Well, alkaline food, there's only 5 types. We talk about fruits, we talk about vegetables, egg white, milk, and seaweed, of which spirulina is also a kind of seaweed. So in Elken, we have the answer to this, Elken's spirulina. So what is so good about Elken's spirulina? It is just a seaweed, but are seaweed just good for us? No. In fact, this seaweed is so rich, you'll be surprised. I was surprised. In fact, it contains the 5 major nutrients that our body needs. What are these 5 major nutrients? Well, first is amino acids. Elken spirulina will contain 18 of the 22 amino acids. 18 of the 22. That's a lot. But more important is it contains 8 of the essential amino acids. These essential amino acids, like we said, is not manufactured by our body. It got to be taken from the outside. So it's a complete protein in that sense. Then it contains what? Essential fatty acids. Essential fatty acids like gamma-linolenic acid. This helps us in terms of enhancing our youthfulness and in terms of keeping our skin crystal clear and smooth. And more important, it also helps us to balance our hormone. It contains carbohydrates to give us energy. I won't go into that because most of our food also contains a lot of carbohydrates. And it contains the works in terms of vitamins, B1, B2, B6, B12, vitamin E, vitamin K, etc. And vitamin B12 is very, very important because it helps us in terms of brain cells growth. We don't take liver anymore, but this is 250% more than found in liver. And it contains all the minerals that we need: calcium, magnesium, phosphorus, potassium. So we don't have to take a combination of pills now. What we have is just Elken spirulina to give us the 5 major nutrients. We don't have to buy magnesium, calcium in terms of supplement. We don't have to buy vitamin E or multivite. We don't have to go for this evening primrose oil. And neither do we have to take complete protein in other ways. And ladies and gentlemen, Elken spirulina is good for whom? It's good for all ages, from baby to expectant mother to people like you and I who are still active in life, and to senior citizens. So we have one product which fits the bill for the whole family. And the second step is to enhance metabolism and to increase oxygen intake. As we know, the oxygen in the air now remains to be desired. The pollution is really that bad. So how do we go about it? What we do is we have aerobic oxygen, the answer to increase our oxygen intake and thereby enhancing our metabolism. And the third step, we will talk about detoxification. Look at the colon. You look at this picture down here. Look at how bad it is, how disfigured it is. And look at all the things that's been stuck in there for ages, and that's why it's turning black or blackish in color. And look at the copristasis that is there, that has come out. These are the remains that's been lodged in our colon for for long time anyway. So this, when it starts to putrefy, what happens? It creates toxins. And these toxins are absorbed by our intestines into our system. Would it enhance our health? Of course it won't. What it does would be, it would then start to poison our body slowly but surely. That's why a lot of people shows it on the face in terms of blemishes. It could be pimples, it could be sensitivity to certain food and all that. But if we don't take care of that, it will then contribute to a major illness in the later part of our life. So these toxins have to be got rid of. In fact, our colon system is such that it is 6 times our height. I'm 6 feet tall. So what happens is we multiply by 6 again because it's 6 times our height. So we have 36 feet in this little midsection here. And honestly, if you look at it, it is so compressed, it is not an effective refill system. But don't worry, we have here Fujita Lactose S to help us to get rid of all these coprostasis that has been stuck, that has been lodged in our colon over the months and the years. So this Fujita Lactose S would contain millions and millions and millions of good bacteria. And this good bacteria would be of Bifidus, Faecalis, and Lactis. This bacteria will go in, kill off all the bad bacteria, and at the same time it will also contain added dietary fiber and oats. Now when this goes through our intestines, you just imagine it's giving a good scrub. So when all hell breaks loose and all the things comes out, you can only feel better, ladies and gentlemen, because the toxins and all the dirt has been taken out from our body. We can only feel better, and it is effective and it is very safe. So what do we do is it also prevents bad breath, because as the things rots in our colon, the breath comes from our internal system down there and it emanates out, and people can feel the bad breath. So once we have taken rid of all these toxins and all these coprostasis from within our system, our breath would also improve, and also improve our beauty, because the toxins is manifested in our skin. Now that we have gotten rid of it, our skin should improve in terms of beauty. And the fourth step is to strengthen the body functions. Now, healthy internal organs is like a well-maintained engine with 100% performance efficiency. In other words, our body is likened to a car. If it is well-maintained, it is raring to go all the time. How could we do that? Well, Elken has all these items down here to strengthen us. First, we would have here, in terms of the ecstasy, this is not only pH neutral, in other words pH 7, it is also 4 times more effective than the vitamin C that you found outside. And for ladies who, well, we have ladies essential here, for people, ladies who suffer from hormonal problems, and this would help them to correct it. And for the men here, we have this Palace wine. Men who suffers or want to prevent in terms of prostate problem, people who suffer from prostate problem, the Palace wine is very effective. And this IG6 colostrum, that is magnificent. It gives us back the immune system as well as your growth factor. As we age, our growth factors diminishes tremendously. So it helps us in terms of regaining not only our youth, but in terms of regaining the functions of our body as well. For all of you out there who are interested to know more about this, well, we have a lot of VCDs, we have a lot of tapes where you can invest in to understand more about that. So, ladies and gentlemen, the 4 steps of Elken Complete Health concept is so simple. First, we have balanced nutrition. Then we have enhanced metabolism and oxygen intake. And third, we would have detoxification. And fourth, we would have in terms of enhancing our body, strengthening our body functions. So remember, ladies and gentlemen, our body is actually the best doctor in the world, because it will show, it will tell us through symptoms like headache, like fatigue, and it tells us that something is wrong inside. We must look after it, and the way to look after it is through these 4 steps of molecular reform therapy, and through practicing it, not on an ad hoc basis, but on a regular basis. So we do this on a daily basis, we would live not only to a ripe old age, but to a ripe old, healthy old age. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your time, and I sincerely hope that this has enlightened us to be a healthier person so that we can all benefit for ourselves. Thank you.